welcome back. This is the 711L Tools Inline Ratchet Driver HEX, and it has a pretty surprising feature that I really like. 711 Tools sent me the product for free to review, but my opinions are my own. We'll start with the overview. This is made in Taiwan. It comes in this really nice box that shows you all the features. It also comes with a little tiny keychain, keyring holder that's very secure. It's actually a little hard to get off. Now, this is the HEX version, not the FL version. And just so you know, the FL version and the HEX version are virtually identical in every way, except for just this part right here. This will work great with any bit drivers that you might have. For example, here is the 711L Tools Lollipop bit driver. Strong magnet, works great. Really like how that works in there. And my only regret with the Lollipop driver is that I didn't get their stainless steel blue version, because then it would match and it would look real sleek. If you like this style of Klein handle, this locks in real nicely and functions just as good with this beefy handle. Here is Vessel's ball grip. Great combination, holds in there pretty securely, but it is just friction fit. And then we have Klein's new ball grip screwdriver. Again, fits in there very well. Though again, when you add this on there, it does add length to your drivers. Right here, it has a 14mm hex. I like that it has the option to really just be able to wrench on it with a 14mm wrench or socket, or in my case, the plier wrench. The directional switch feels good to use. There's a little tiny marker underneath, and you can see here, driving that way. If it's in the middle, it doesn't drive at all. And if it's in the next position, it drives that way. So here's a couple bits. The magnet is very strong, which is exactly what I would expect. And you can see when I put it in there, the magnet on the inside is on this little tiny container right here. So when you put it in there, it locks in place. And now it is a magnet, so I can still pull it out. And this is designed specifically so that you can pull down like this, and then as a result, the magnet is no longer connecting with the bit, so it's easier to remove the magnet. My experience with this is that because they're so in line with this, which is a good thing, it can also make them, especially if you have cold or slippery hands, hard to grab and pull down. So I just prefer to just take the bit out with my hand. It works great with power bits or any bits that have the detents right there. So you can see here, there's very minimal, totally acceptable wobble. It works great with Leatherman bits. And when you put it in there, you'll see that that will pull up, but it's in there. It just goes back and forth like this with this bit in there. And it will do the same with double-ended bits. Banana 4 scale, please subscribe. Guess what? I wrote a children's book called Who Says Pooh? It's a funny read-aloud children's book about words in different languages that sound phonetically like the English word poo. Link is in the description. Now back to the video. Now, before we get into the surprising feature, I want to talk about how it compares to the Leatherman Ratchet Driver. Both seem to have the same amount of tooth count, actually. The Leatherman has theirs listed as 44 teeth, and while I can't find it listed anywhere for the 711L Tools Inline, when I counted each one, I counted about 44 teeth myself. They seem to have about the exact same teeth, and that's where the similarities start to end. I'm going to first start with the Leatherman Ratchet Driver. It is much smaller, okay? Both in length and in width. The Leatherman Ratchet Driver is also half the weight. That's 36 grams versus 71 grams. Next thing is that the Leatherman bit driver surprisingly has less back drag. I'll take a 1/4 inch hex bit out when they're in the same orientation. So I'm spinning this one this way, and I'm spinning this one this way. You can see the Leatherman ratchet is the one that's still moving. That's because this guy has a lot more back drag. The other place where the Leatherman wins is that it is $20 USD cheaper. This is $39.95. This is $59.90. That could be a big negative for some people. Now let's talk about the pros for the 711L where it wins in comparison. This guy is very fiddly. I don't know if you can see that in there, but there is so much play in this. It's just overall, like you can just see so much of the wobble. Next thing is the ratchet just sounds so much cleaner and better on the 711L. Leatherman also just feels cheaper and delicate, like it could break at any time. Whereas this thing is very, very sturdy. It feels like a premium tool. And something worth watching after this video is that 711L Tools made a destruction test that they put on YouTube. And there's two of them, and I'll link them in the description. All right, so now for the surprising feature. And I don't know if you recognize it at all based on how that 1/4" hex shaft is, but I'll give you a hint. If you remember the 711L Tools 1/4" flex head everyday carry ratchet wrench with T-handle review that I did, you'll remember that it was compatible with Klein flip sockets. Because of where those ball detents are, they designed it specifically with that way. And the first thing I clocked when I saw this was where they are. And sure enough, you can get this on there and you can actually use it as a holder. So if I put in a 1/4" hex guy there, I can use this as a wrench. And another fun thing about that is that if you notice when I put it right there, it will hold on relatively tight because of where those ball detents are, and I can use that actually as a handle. A fun thing to do that is that if you have the largest, the 5/8 and 3/4, you can put it all the way through and have a fun little tiny sort of all-in-one wrench design if you'd like. You can also do the same with the 9/16 side of this guy. And then of course, because this is 14mm, if you go to the metric ones, you can put the 14mm one on there, and that's even more secure. So you have a little tiny handle that doubles as a socket. Of course, this works just fine with these guys as well. So you can get your tinier one on there if that's what you want. Just remember, you have no magnet on the inside here. Let's say you have these 3 flip sockets that are the standard ones you can buy, right? If you take this, flip it on the back side, and you have their T-handle ratchet that's also compatible, you can actually put these guys on there. So you can see when these are combined, not only do you have a tiny ratcheting screwdriver, but you also have T-handle for your sockets, you have another ratchet socket, you have a bit extension, possibly a different bit in there. I just have a 1/4" socket adapter. So you have a lot in a tiny little package. So this is yet another amazing tool by 711L Tools. It feels premium and functional and durable, and I really, really like this tool. And if you're curious to know more about the Leatherman Ratchet Driver, check out the video here. Thanks for watching.